Annyeong, it's Mikey here, and guys, I truly thank you guys so much for how far this channel has come. I can't believe how much this channel has built and the fact that we're already almost close to 4K, and I'm really curious to see how far the channel will go this year, and I'm hoping that it can reach the skies. Now, today I want to thank Skyloong for sending me out their new GK104 Pro. So, this is a full-size keyboard with an LCD screen, with a screen on it, and yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's a full-size board, which even has a calculator. So let's go straight into the unboxing and take a look. And please make sure to like and subscribe.
Now starting off with the unboxing of the Skyloong GK104 Pro. This is going to be an interesting one. I know the board's been out for a little bit of time now, but as you can see inside, we have a cable, just your basic cable, has a switch pillar, keycap pillar, again a basic one, but you also do get some extra keycaps, a lot of extra switches, and even an extra space stabilizer. Now you'll see the reason why for it very soon, but they also give you extra tools. And yeah, in this box, it's not a bad unboxing experience. It doesn't feel super premium, like you're not getting an accessories box separately and like everything separated, but it is a decent experience. Now of course we're going to have to now take a look at the board itself. So I did get the peach version. Actually, this isn't really for myself. This is going to be actually something for my own sister. So hopefully she likes it. But this is actually quite interesting. You get this really large screen. You actually get two large screens and a bunch of knobs. Also, as you can see there, the stabilizers were provided because its spacebar is actually split up into two different keys, which is also quite interesting, and I'm really curious how it's gonna sound, because I know a really long one, you know, is sometimes tingy, but split up might be a really good idea actually, especially in a board this big, which is a full size. Now we're gonna weigh it before we go into the sound test, so it's gonna be about 1.2 kilos, and let's hear it. So now that we've done the sound test, and I hope you guys enjoyed it because I tried to do a little bit more of an in-depth sound test with a little bit more of a different style. So hopefully you guys liked it. Now we're going to actually try to completely open this up. The first thing, sorry, I tongue twisted for a second, is we're going to try and open up the back to see what's underneath that metal plate. Because as you can see, that is an actual metal plate. And the screws, I was trying to figure out the exact perfect shape and size of it. It is a star-shaped one. It's a bit of an awkward size. So we're finally getting the right one. We're going to open it up, take a look to see what's underneath and why is it specifically built this way. And a little bit of a spoiler alert, tearing this thing down was a little bit complicated, and I will go over exactly why. But underneath the metal plate, as you can see, gives you the 2 batteries, so you're having a total of 8,000 milliamp hours. So I put the plate back in, and I'm trying to now open it up. So it seemed like it was actually quite simple. I'm gonna be honest with you, I was quite surprised there. Actually, that spot where the switch is and where the USB dongle goes in has a metal plate that's actually magnetic. And I didn't know this and didn't really notice this before, but there's actually a white sticker on there that had the screw in there. So I was having a hard time opening the back of this portion, and I realized I have to actually remove that screw. And those aren't the only screws you have to remove on this to get this open. This is a very interesting thing. I was trying to figure out, why is it stuck? There's something there that's keeping this whole board, the back portion of it, stuck. And I couldn't figure out exactly why. Then I realized there must be a lot more screws involved. So compared to other plastic boards that I've opened, which is usually, you just use the electronics like tool opening kit to open up, this board has many screws actually involved in opening this up. So underneath that metal plate where the batteries are, there is one screw that screws into the middle. You have to remove that. And guess what? That's not the only one. Underneath both of the portion where like you can change the angle actually also has 2 more screws. You actually have to remove every single one of those screws. So that's a total of 5 screws that has to be removed before you're able to actually get this thing fully open. Now, that was quite a trip. It actually took me quite a bit to open this up. I'm only showing you guys pieces of the footage because it did take quite a while. But you have to remove all the screws, and then finally you can get it open. And it's actually quite easy to open once you do remove the screws. So let's take a look and see what's inside. Now on the bottom, as you can see there's going to be some foam that's taking up the empty spaces inside. Now I'm trying to remove the battery cables just to, take a look inside the thing. And lo and behold, I broke something. I broke one of the battery's connectors. And unfortunately, there isn't a way to put it back together unless I have like a soldering iron and a new piece to be able to do so, but I don't. So now I've lost a 4,000 milliamp hour battery, and this board is now only 4,000 instead of 8,000. Now, of course, we're going to go into looking to mod it. So just to give you guys a little bit of an in-depth look of this board is you do get the back of the PCB foam, and there's a foam in between the plate and the PCB, and that plate is actually a plastic plate. So you get a plastic plate, a PCB, foam, and back foam with a static sheet. Now we're going to do about 2 layers of tape on this thing just to see if it actually makes a difference or not. And we're going to put it all back together. Of course, we have to make sure to put in all the screws as well. So when you are taking this apart, just be careful, right? You want to be careful when you're doing a take apart or tear down of the board, especially plastic boards, because it's very easy to break something, and you're working with small parts. And then, of course, you're going to also have to put it back carefully as well. This is something that I've also had troubles with, like say with the Vibe 99, which was putting it back together. I would break something. And unfortunately, that's just kind of how my hands are. I break a lot of things, and I'm trying my best, but it's definitely hard. And I don't mind. I'd rather break something and be able to fully take it apart to show you guys than it not break at all. So, but remember, there's total of 5 screws that need to be taken out. It's going to be by the USB dongle area, by the battery, and then underneath these stands. And let's hear the board. So now that we've done the sound test, let's go in and actually take a look at the board, see what you're getting, and good information. So now, do you see how there's a screen there and there's knobs? You can actually remove those. That's what a lot of the extra switches are for, and what the keycaps are for. You're actually changing them out to be, the delete, home key, and such. Now, this thing also has its own calculator. As you can see on the camera and the screen, you can actually see me using the calculator itself. Now, I'm sure you guys could hear there is a bunch of noise. This board actually has a speaker built inside the board as well. So to turn off all that sound, you need to press FN0. So make sure you remember that, FN0 to turn off that sound, because it does get annoying. I don't know why they have a bubbly sound and the calculator noise. So this board, the one I received, came with the KTT Rose Pink switch. It's a tactile switch, and it's a box stem, which is really great because you're going to get much less stem wobble. And it's actually not bad. I'm not a big tactile fan, but on this one, I actually didn't mind it at all. Compared to, say, the last time I tried the Gamma K, which was quite scratchy, this one actually felt really nice. It is a bit of a heavier tactile switch, so just be aware of that. Now, you do get plate mount stabilizers. They come pre-lubed, and the fact that the spacebar is split up, great. You're not getting any tinging, and I didn't even have to modify the space bars at all. This thing sounded really good. Like, all the stabilizers sounded great. I had no issues with them, which is great because a lot of times I'm having to either modify or upgrade the stabilizers in some of the boards that I get. This one, you actually do not have to. You don't have to worry about it at all. Now, this is wireless, wired. You have tri-mode, so you have different modes available. You can also change to Mac mode or Windows mode, so you do have those available to you. I do want to go and check the backlighting as well. So we're going to go in, do a little bit of a backlight test, of course, and check out to see what we're getting and how bright is it compared to, say other boards that we've tried. We want to see how good is the backlight. So let's start turning off the lights and take a look. So now that the lights are getting dimmer and we're going to a fully no lights scene, you can see the backlighting is actually really bright. I was quite surprised and really actually nicely surprised. So for those that are liking having a good backlight that is bright, this definitely does that. So you're able to actually have very, very bright backlight. The screen also is actually quite bright as well. And even the calculator is also lit up. It actually gives you the battery percentage up there too, which is really cool. And surprisingly enough, even though they have one battery, it still knows the percentage. So that's quite impressive. Now, of course, we're going to have to go into the website and I'll show you the software, but also just a little bit more information of the board. Now, it does have custom nub functions, so you're supposed to be able to change that. And we'll go a little bit more into that into the software, and you also get a screen, and you're supposed to be able to put in different GIFs or different things that you'd like to add in there. So you do have options. This does have the 8,000 milliamp hours, and it's supposed to have a really high polling rate. So you're supposed to get very little latency, which we'll see very soon. But I was quite surprised that it's able to do that. But I've seen reviews of this where some people were kind of confused of the software and which one to use. So I will go into where to go. So it's the software and tools all down the bottom of the website. And you're going to have to use the GK6 plus V8. So I thought I was supposed to use the GK6X plus. No, it's actually the GX6K V8. The other one doesn't work well. Now, this is the one that you're supposed to use. This is the way to do the lighting. So you actually have to go into preset lamp layer to be able to do the lighting changes, and you actually have to do save and then apply to make sure that happens. The same things, you have to actually go into the window layer and then change the window layers separately, the Mac layer, and change that separately as well. And then you have layer 3. So the layering on the software does work. It's not the best software, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's decent, but there's still some issues with the software. Like, I don't think this is the best software you can grab and use, because it's not easy to just change the backlighting like say other boards where you can go click color and I'm going to choose this and I'm going to, like choose pink, red, or blue and be able to set it. No, this one's more like preset LED, like backlighting, and then set it. I'm not actually sure exactly how to do the other ones because I'm not able to click on them, unfortunately, which is not the best thing, because when you're dealing with a board, you would like to be able to easily modify things. The software is a little bit more complicated than it should be. It does give you a lot of options. You're able to play around with certain things and you're even able to zoom in, but it's not great, right? Like, you want a really simple software. Like, companies also should realize simple is best, right? Simple is best all the time. You always want to go with simple, but you also want to go with functional, right? As you can see here, there's a lot of things that you're missing that you're not able to do on this board. Hard to tell which is the FN layer, and making all these changes. You really need to have a simplified software. It's super important for companies. They really need to really modify this and fix this. Now, going to the keyboard inspector, this is supposed to actually have 8K polling. So it was really interesting to see that it has 8K polling available. I don't have, a tool to be able to check further, like the input latency and such, but through the keyboard inspector, we can see it does have 8K. Now, that's really impressive, especially at this price of about 100 to 120 USD. Very, very impressive. Overall, this board is actually pretty decent. I have to admit, I was quite pleasantly surprised with it. Sorry that the camera's focus was just going wonky there for a moment. But yeah, I've tried other boards, right? So full-size boards, plastic, that I've tried is Vibe 99, the Gamma K, and the Echo 5098B. So those are the other three I've tried that are full-sized. And then, of course, the Lumen Key, which is an aluminum board. But this one also sounded pretty decent. It does have all these extra features, which are great in the screen. But I want to give you guys a sound test, kind of comparing the sound with this board and the other boards I've tried as well. So I have to admit, like, I say in person, this thing sounds quite nice, and it's actually quite surprising. So now that we've done the sound test comparisons, I'm not sure what you guys are thinking, but if I were to put this in a rating between all those boards, I'd put this at number 2. That's just because it comes with the 8K. It does sound really great, and the switches also feel pretty decent. So I would have to put this at number 2 after the Echo.
Now, let me know down below in the comments what you guys thought of this GK104 Pro. Now, I was still pretty impressed. The thing is, this board sounds really great. Now, they did put a lot of work into it in terms of it is quite difficult to open up. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's a lot of work to open this thing up, and you're gonna have to be really careful. As you guys saw in my video, there was a fragile piece in terms of the battery. When I'm trying to remove it, it did break, unfortunately. That is something you're gonna have to be careful of. That means that piece is quite fragile. I never really experienced that with other boards, even with the same strength. This one, it did break. So now I only get 4,000 milliamps instead of 8,000. In general, though, I do like this tactile switch. It does feel great. I'm not a big tactile fan, and I thought it felt really not bad, actually. Like, I didn't mind typing on it. I didn't mind using this board. It's nice to have a calculator too, especially if you're in a pinch and you're needing it. I don't know why they have that sound on. I know you can turn it off, but I think it should just be default turned off and then turned on if you need it, because it makes like all this bubbly noise. It does have a cool speaker inside. Actually, you know, interestingly enough, I'm curious about this is and let me know if companies started to have speakers in their keyboards and it made a sound that you liked instead. Now, I think that might be a cool feature, or a gimmick technically, but you know, if you really wanted a deep talk and you didn't want to have to build and buy one yourself, imagine if your keyboard could just do it by the speakers. Now, yeah, I mean, I would love to know what you guys' thoughts are. In terms of comparing this with the other boards that I tried, which is like this, you know, the ACO 5098B, the Gamma K, and the Vibe 99, I would put this as my number 2 after the ACO, just because, I mean, this is about 110 USD around there, and I think it sounds really great. I'd love how they did the spacebar like this. I only use one side mostly. Depends on the person, of course, but yeah, I mean, it sounds really good. And the fact is, it has so much features with it as well. So please go check out the links below, and please go check out the other videos I got, and I'll catch you guys next time.